Hello, everybody. Tonight, Friday night, May the 23rd. I'm a little late. I'm still waiting on the guest, Larry Wilcox, to show up. I don't know what happened to Larry, but I'm waiting. So this has put me in a little bit of a improv spot. Hopefully, he's going to show up here in the very, very near future. It was bound to happen at some point in time. This is episode number 51, coming to you live. This is one of the risks of going live. Every now and then when we go live, there's always a little bit of a risk that something like this could happen, that somebody could technically forget, something along those lines. Let's hope not. So in the meantime, if you guys have any questions that you could throw up there, I'll be happy to answer anything. I'm super excited about having him on. I'll tell you what, hopefully he shows up in the very near future. And you know, if he doesn't, then I don't know what to tell you. I'm very, very sorry. I was hoping that he would be here, and we had communication throughout the week. So, you know, I don't know. It's one of those things, and something could have happened to where, you know, this is a podcast. This isn't the end of the world. So he could have ran into something that that kept him from being here and so forth. So I'll tell you this much, just to kind of mention this to everybody. And I'm hopeful that he gets on here. His career started out on a ton of different television shows and stuff that most young people aren't even going to know. But don't worry, because most young people don't tune into this. Most of the audience that's tuning into this is 45 and older. But he did star in Lassie. He was on that for 24 episodes, and he's been on other shows like MASH. I couldn't believe that he was on MASH. I remember that episode. How epic is that? He was on The Partridge Family, Room 222, Police Story, Fantasy Island, The Love Boat, and many, many other shows as well. So I've been hearing all this stuff about this Karen Read case, and so it has forced me. That case did really nothing for me, I have to tell you. When I heard about that case, I was like, yeah, I'm not interested. It sounds boring to me. It sounds like a big mess. And I've heard about 50 people tell me, hey, man, you need to tune into this. So I actually did, and I started watching it. And one of our guests that was on a couple of weeks ago, Ed Wallace, they do a lot of commentary in reference to that case on his podcast, which is Duty Ron. And check that out. If you ever get a chance, check out his podcast. And I know some of his viewers are checking us out. But my point is that I started watching the trial. And the trial footage is pretty it's pretty incredible. I mean, you know, one of the things that really jumps out to me in reference to that particular case is the testimony that's being given by the officers. And I hate to sit here and armchair quarterback things, but they're not very good on the stand. I'm a little bit shocked. I mean, you have guys that are Massachusetts State Police. You've got people that I would think would be a little bit more articulate on the stand and a little bit more convincing. And I'm just not feeling that. And honestly, if I had to go out on a limb and just pick what's going to happen in reference to that case, I will tell you that I think it might end up being a not guilty. I haven't heard anything yet that has shown me that he is going to, or that they've proven their case, really. I don't know. It's just kind of a bizarre case. I don't know what to think of it. I don't know if anybody's got any questions in reference to that case or any other case for that matter. I'll be happy to talk about whatever. If you got a question about the first 48 or anything in the meantime, and hopefully he shows up. I mean, my gosh, I can't believe this has happened. But anyway, if you've got questions, feel free to shoot. As far as there was thoughts on the 10 escaped convicts. This is going to be, somebody had asked about the 10 escaped convicts. What's up with that? Well, my first thought when our crime analyst, Margot, came up to me and she was telling me about it. And she's like, hey, did you hear about what happened with these convicts, et cetera? And I said, well, that sounds like an inside job all day long. I mean, that was my immediate thought. And 5 minutes later, she came back and she goes, oh, they're saying that right now. And I was like, yeah, that's something that I don't know what to think about it. I think that's something that should never happen. When you've got 10 people getting out and escaping that are running the streets, and there's been 5 arrested from what I understand. And I'm seeing that I'm seeing somebody wrote 4, but I've heard that it's 5 that have actually been arrested, and it's just really pathetic, and that should never happen. So I don't know really what to think about it. Okay, so Sally asked if there's any update on new DNA technology and is there anything in use yet? Well, the DNA is getting incredibly fine-tuned. I will tell you that I spoke to a DNA guy recently, and he said in 10 years, you might want to think twice about committing any crimes because the technology is incredible. And as far as the DNA technology in the city of Tulsa, we are getting it where we already did. We've got the MVAC machine, which is a machine that shoots a sterile saline solution onto porous material. And when that thing goes online, we've got it. I mean, I'm hopeful that I think the stuff's out of the boxes. I know I delivered it to the lab, and that's equipment that the Tulsa Police Foundation was kind enough to give us. I think it was $52,000 that they donated for the cause. And it gives us about a 25% to a 30% greater chance of actually finding DNA on porous materials as opposed to the traditional swabbing method. So, I don't know. I think that's pretty incredible. And I think it's going to be online. The last time I heard, I think we're going to start using it towards the end of July is when we're going to have that available. The lab has some rules that they have to live by. They have to validate. They have to do things like this to, I don't know what that means, but because I'm not a scientist, but they have to do things like that where they're going to test it and see how it's valid. They're going to validate is what I've been told. So once that happens, then not only lab personnel can actually utilize this thing, but we've had a couple of crime scene people at least that have been trained on it so they can go over there and do stuff too. And man, we're ready to rock and roll. We've already got cases in mind. We've got cases that we think that are going to be good cases for that. And I think it's going to be exceptional. So looking forward to that. I get questions all the time. When are new episodes coming out? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I would start tuning in on Thursdays in June. In June, I know that there's at least 3 Tulsa episodes that are going to hit the TV that are brand spanking new ones. One of them is mine. I think mine's hitting whatever that 20-something is that's a Thursday. They're going to be, somebody's asking me, does anybody of my coworkers use that technology? Or how many departments use that technology rather? I don't know because I don't have an exact number. That's one of the questions that I'd actually asked. I think that's a good question. I don't know, but I will tell you this, that Miami-Dade, they actually have like 17 or 18 machines. And from what I understand, they have solved hundreds, and I said hundreds of cold cases based on that technology. And so that's really exciting. Another question that I've got here is that do any of our coworkers, the team, watch your podcast? Well, I can tell you this, not publicly. They don't come up to me and go, "Hey man, I just watched your show." No, they don't. They don't admit to it. I don't know if they do or not, really, to tell you the truth. They're welcome to. I don't know. I don't know if they do or not. I'm sure that there's somebody that's checking it out to see what in the heck I'm talking about. I will tell you this. There are a lot of police officers that watch it. There's police officers that work for the Tulsa Police Department that watch it as well because they certainly holler at me about things. And I'm checking my other. See, I've got another email thing here that I have to check that Amanda is sending me a message. So I need to, somebody's asking me how Ronnie's doing. Amanda's asking me. Ronnie's doing good. Ronnie is, he works for the enemy. Well, not really. I'm just playing. He works for the public defender of the U.S. prosecution, basically the public defenders for the U.S. courts. So the federal courts, and that's what he does. And he's an investigator for them. And I'm sitting here looking at some other cases that people are mentioning. Somebody said about P. Diddy. You know what? I could really care less about P. Diddy as well. The guy sounds like a sick individual that if all of that stuff and all the hype is true about some of the stuff that he's involved in, then he needs to go to prison for probably forever, really. I think it's really pathetic when you got a guy like that that's got the money and everything going for him like that. And my gosh, I haven't watched any of the testimony. I don't think that's televised, but as far as him, I'm surprised that, I don't know, just all the bad stuff that he was involved in and stuff. If there's there's got to be some truth to it. There's just too many people that are talking about it. I think what's going to be interesting is all the names that of the people that are involved in it, that are really involved in it. Oh, TMZ's covering it all day. Okay. Yeah, that's good. I'm glad somebody's covering it. I mean, it's a big deal. It's just, that's yet another case that, I'd rather, I don't know. It's just not grabbing me. And in that Massachusetts case, I think that really in that deal, it's, I don't know. It's an interesting case. Like I said, I just don't think she's going to be found guilty. I'll tell you a couple of other people that have been on this show, Danny Couples and Mike Elam. They're actually in, I was going to be there, but I've been really busy and I was expecting Larry to be here tonight. So I stuck around for that, but they're actually in McNairy County, Tennessee for the Buford Pusser. I don't know what they call it. It might be the Buford Pusser Festival or something, but they're down in McNairy County, Tennessee on the border of, I think it's Mississippi, if I'm not mistaken. And they're down there for this festival and they're having a good time. Actually, Cheryl McCollum is with them and she's been a guest on the show too. So 3 of my previous guests are all together and I was supposed to be there with them, but it didn't happen because we were going to do this tonight. Let's see. What other kind of questions am I getting from people on here? I'm sorry. This kind of threw me for a loop. What constitutes sex trafficking? Well, I'm not a sex trafficking detective, but I can tell you this much. That is something that our Vice unit, no Larry yet. No Larry yet. I see somebody just popped in here and you're finally here. And no, he's not here yet. I don't know what happened to him. I sent him a message to find out where he's at. And I'd sent him the link and we were ready to roll. And I don't know. I don't know what happened, but like I told everybody before, this was bound to happen at some point in time where we were going to have somebody that just didn't show up. And I'm going to talk to Amanda about it. We might end up throwing up a pre-record here in a moment. We might be able to just do that, Amanda, as opposed to this. But hey, Barb, welcome. You've been missing for a while. I don't remember seeing you anytime lately. I think you were gone. The human trafficking, that's handled by basically the Homeland Security, just to kind of mention that. They're the federal agency that spends most of their time with human trafficking and other things like that. And it's a serious problem. I will just tell you this. It is a major, serious problem. I spoke to some people that work in the Vice unit, and which is, I was in the very, very first Vice unit ever on the Tulsa Police Department, and we didn't even mess with that stuff. I mean, it wasn't like it is today. And they've told me that it is crazy how much there's this human trafficking where they basically got slaves that are working for these, I don't know what you call them, I guess pimps or whatever, but they're trafficking these people and underage people, and they take them across state lines, just like, yep, that's what they do. They take them across state lines and they operate under, I don't even know what the heck the sites are that they're operating off of, but it's running rampant from what they tell me. And the problem with that is that when they're dealing with the human trafficking stuff, they try to intervene and they try to get those women and some of these victims out of that scenario. And the problem is that they're only successful a very, very small amount of the time. I think it's like 15 to 20% of the time they're able to successfully get these women out of that situation and where they're willing to be taken out of that. And I don't know what the situation, I don't know why. I don't know the ins and outs of that to that extent, but I'm going to message Amanda here real quick. But that's kind of what's up. We're still we're been super busy. I'm working on a couple of cold cases. Hopefully I'm going to have an announcement on one of them in the very, very near future, and et cetera, et cetera. So next week we're going to put Steve-O up. I've been thinking long and hard about it. And since you guys are been such troopers here tonight, I was kind of debating as to whether or not I was going to air it next week, but I really want to air. So next week we're going to do Steve-O. That's the goal, and we'll air that. And let me tell you something real quick. Epic. I'm not saying, hey, the episode's okay. No, it's epic. I promise you. And it's going to be really, really good. I promise. It's going to be awesome. There's nothing bad. Matter of fact, I'm even funnier than he is at times, so it's going to be really good. And I'm just double checking on a couple of things to make sure that he hasn't messaged me and so forth. And I'm going to message Amanda right quick and find out what we might end up doing is this. All right, sorry about that. I had to type something real quick. Give me some other questions. If you've got some questions, throw them at me. I will tell you that there's no end in sight for the first 48. I know that they're meeting about it. I get messages all the time. What the heck is this? Neighbors Next Door and all this other shows that they're showing. I don't know. I don't know what's up with that. See, the people that we work for, how they do it is they basically, the Jason White show tonight. I don't have a problem with it being the Jason White show. The only problem I have is when I'm not really, I don't have like a script of things that I'm going to talk about. That's the only problem. And with that didn't happen. I'm just really, really surprised that I'm sitting here right now alone. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. And he's going to be on here in the near future. If he doesn't make it here tonight, we're going to give it. He probably just forgot or something happened like along those lines. Give me a question. Somebody throw out a question if you've got something else. And I'm watching for the comments, and I appreciate everybody that's in here and taking a look. If you've got any other questions, man, that's great. I'll tell you, people. So I get this question a lot too. Is where are the new episodes? What's up with this? What's the plan for the future? I can tell you that I think. Do I watch the first 48? Good question. Yeah, I've been watching it since it came out in 2004. And I've been a fan of that show before I was a homicide detective. And I started in homicide in 2009. And I watch it. I'm a fan of certain cities. I'm not going to throw any cities down under the bus of the ones that, I prefer some cities to others. I love Miami. I love Memphis. I love Dallas. Dallas is the bomb. And all of those are really great. And so they're really, really good. And I liked the Tulsa episodes, to be honest with you. And I really liked Mobile, and I'm disappointed that Mobile left us. I'm trying to get a couple of detectives from some of the other cities. I'm trying to get one from Memphis, and I may get one from Dallas because I know a couple of those guys. Hey, Darren. Darren's my cousin, just showed up and hello. Appreciate you being here. And actually, Darren's grandfather was a California highway patrolman. And but anyway, Danny's in the house too. Danny, the deal is, buddy, is he didn't show up. I don't know where he's at. So something might have happened. Who knows? And who would my top 3 interviews be in my dream world? I think what you're getting at is my top 3 interviews. If I could have just anybody on here. Oh boy, I don't know. I don't know. I can't say for certain. I will say this, that I will mention this, that the show that I'm going to be speaking in Palm Springs. I'm going to be speaking in Palm Springs sometime in October. And I just happen to be really interested Caroline Mason would be awesome. I would love that. As a matter of fact, somebody that I know actually knows her, and they were on a cruise with this person that knows her, and they were going to reach out to her and see if she'd be willing to do it. She's not hard to find. I could probably get a hold of her and find out if she'd be willing to be here. I think she keeps somewhat of a relatively low profile. And if I'm not mistaken, also, I think she's like a lieutenant colonel or some sort of a commander or something with the Memphis Police Department. So she's really done well for herself and so forth. But, I don't know. Top 3 people. If you're talking about first 48, I'd like to get one of my favorite detectives of all time. I love Freddie Ponce, but there's also another guy that I really love from Miami, and that's Irvins Ford. I really like him. And if you're asking me about in any field as far as interviewing people, well, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't have an answer to that. I don't really know who I don't know. Probably I'd like to get Clint Eastwood on here. If I could pick anybody, I'd like to get Clint Eastwood on here, really. And the crazy part is that I know 2 people that know him. And so one of them, I don't want to, well, I guess I could tell this story really quick, but I was, one of them was married to his daughter that I know, and he's actually going to come on the show in the future. And the other one is somebody that her dad was his best friend. And so he's been on one of his movies. He's been on, or maybe a couple of his movies actually. And that would be really cool. I'd like to talk to him about Dirty Harry days and so forth. But I don't know that Clint Eastwood is like, he's like one of the top stars on the history of the planet. So I don't know that Clint Eastwood, we could get him to be on a podcast that's got the viewership that we've got. But I don't know. We'll see. So let's see what else. I don't know about any cases that have made me laugh. Dumb criminals. Most of the homicides that we deal with, I'll just be honest with you. Most of the homicides that we deal with are really, if I could put it up on a mathematical equation, and if I could show you the bottom number, it would, the bottom number would just be stupid. That's really what it is. There's very few of our homicides, to tell you the truth, that are there's any real good reason for them or anything along those lines and so forth. It's just really, really, hey, Steve, welcome. Glad you're here. Tell my other cousin that I said hello. I appreciate you being here. I was really, really stoked about tonight. I really was. I've been like a kid thinking about this, nervous and so forth, that I'm going to get to talk to somebody that I watched on TV a ton when I was a kid. And, I don't know what, I don't know what happened, really. So I'll tell you this much. No, I get this question a lot too. Are there going to be anybody that's going to be retiring in the near future? I think that the next two people that will probably retire from our unit is going to be John Brown and Mark Kennedy. They're the ones, they've already been on for 35 years. They're kind of they're getting really, really close. And so and then after that, I really don't know. There's going to be a couple of guys that I have in mind. I'm going to be there for likely another. Oh, somebody's asking about the cockroach episode. You know what? And you said that it was really funny. Well, let me tell you something about that cockroach episode. What they're talking about is a search warrant that we ran on a house where, I'm not kidding you, it's like I literally could open up a book and there was cockroaches boiling out of this book. It was insane. And if you really knew me, let me tell you something about me, and Ronnie would attest to this. I hate insects and I hate rodents. Any kind of rats, mice, cockroaches, bugs of any kind, spiders, including spiders, any of that jazz, man, I am out. And so bad that there are times when they've even been so kind enough that they're like, hey man, they already know I'm not going in. I mean, I am just not going to go in. And so I've got like, I hate that stuff. And so in that case, yeah, it might've been funny on TV, but in reality, it wasn't funny at all. I was miserable. So I literally could feel cockroaches walking up my legs, and it was horrible. Let's see what else. The goat episode. Yeah, the goat, that was kind of fun. That goat was possessed. I agree with you. And throw some questions. This is your time. You've got this one opportunity, and hopefully this never happens again for me to be sitting here ad-libbing. I will tell you that we have a couple of episodes. Like I said, next week it's going to be Steve-O, and you don't want to miss that. That is for sure going to happen because that was pre-recorded right here in my living room, and that is awesome. And then we have another pre-record that we did with Bobby Zigmont, and that's a good one. He's a Tulsa police officer. He'll be coming on. It's really good. And let's see, I'm looking for some additional things here. Okay, somebody's asking me if a movie was made about my life, who would want to play you? I don't know. I don't know. I'll tell you what. I will say this. This is kind of a fun story. So I kind of got off track. I will be speaking in Palm Springs. I'm going to be speaking in October. So one of the things that I did is I was just kind of curious. I wanted to go to LA. I haven't been to LA in like since the 90s. And it's been a really long time since I've been there. And I know that people are like, what the heck would you want to go to LA for? Well, I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff in LA. You know, I wouldn't mind going and showing Tina, my wife, where we lived and places like that. And there's just a lot of cool things to go see and do, et cetera, et cetera. And so I happen to look up the Whiskey A Go-Go because that's a place I'd like to go along with the Troubadour. And believe it or not, there's a buddy of mine that is going to be performing at the Whiskey A Go-Go. And so I changed it really quick. Yeah, Clint Eastwood that'd be epic, wouldn't it? And so I don't know. I'll tell you what. Hey, Danny, do you have your laptop with you? I might even send you a link and you can join me and tell me how it's going at the Buford Pusser Festival live. Let me know. And so, but anyway, he's going to be performing. So what that means, I messaged him right away and I said, "Hey bro, I'm going to be in LA and I changed my flight when I saw that he was going to be there." And it's Scotty Austin, former lead singer of Saving Abel, and he's on a world tour. And so I'm going to be hanging out with Scotty Austin at the freaking Whiskey A Go-Go, and that's all kinds of epic. Here, hang on. Danny, I'm going to look you up real quick, and I might just have Danny come on and we'll talk about, since he's there. Stand by, everybody. Give me a quick minute. I need to do this right quick, and then we're going to bring him on, and we'll see what he's got going on there. Just give me a quick minute. I've got to multitask here for a very, very quick minute. We're going to find out what's going on at the Buford Pusser Festival live with Cheryl McCullum, who's out there as well. But give me a quick minute, Danny. I got to find the link. That way you're not sitting here bored with me. But think about that. The Whiskey A Go-Go, and I'm going to be there, and I'm going to be backstage hanging out with a rock star that's about ready to go on his world tour. And it's pretty freaking awesome, and I'm loving it. And so if you're in LA when Scotty Austin's performing, come on down for the show, man. It's something not to miss. It'll be a blast. You can meet me too, because I'll be there in the audience having a blast. All right, here we go. Oh, there's another. I'm going to be on a podcast too. This guy, I don't know. This guy does a lot of mafia stuff, so I don't know if. All right, I'm sending it, Danny. Let's see if it comes through, and if it does, then hop on, and then we'll get an update on this. This is going to be an improv guest that just all of a sudden we're going to be able to bring in here, and we're going to figure it out. Okay, Danny, you should have it. Amanda, when he jumps on, bring him in, and we'll get a live update in McNairy County, Tennessee, where supposedly there's somewhat of a bed bug outbreak at some hotels and motels in that area. So for one reason, I'm not really into those either. So I don't want to be introduced to those. I've never seen them, don't want to know them, but I've seen some shows that said they're miserable to get rid of, and I don't want any part of it. Yeah, somebody's asking about the mafia stuff. I don't know. There's a guy yeah, my dad was CHP as well. And actually I was really ready. I had a lot of cool things here to show everybody that, believe me, I will say this, I'm going to give him a shout out, and I'll do it again if he comes back on, but Will Reyes, California Highway Patrolman. I told him I'd give him a shout out. He works in what they call the Concrete Jungle, which is the central division of the California Highway Patrol. This is one of the challenge coins that he has sent me, and he sent me one of these too. It's challenge coin from Central CHP, and Will Reyes is a California Highway Patrolman who's a friend of mine. And Danny, hop on, man, if you can get on that link. If hopefully it'll work for you. Yeah, I sent it to your email. I did. I sent it to your email, and so it should be there. Anyway, so challenge coins. So I got some stuff from him, and go ahead and throw his picture up, Amanda. Will Reyes, Highway Patrolman. He's standing next to the commissioner. It's one of the first photos that I had sent you. And he's standing, I think it was yesterday is when I sent those. Yep, there he is. There's Will Reyes. He's standing next to, by the way, he's standing next to the commissioner of the California Highway Patrol. And I told him, I said, man, that's brilliant. Well done, sir, because that's a pretty big deal. And anyway, hopefully Danny will get on here in a minute. Okay, he says he doesn't have it. I'll resend it. Stand by. I'm sending it again, buddy. I don't know what the deal is here. It says it's been sent, so you should get it. But anyway, so he's out there. I guess this is a festival that they do to commemorate Buford Pusser. And I mean, he's a legend in that area, in that part of Tennessee. I think it's southwest Tennessee is where McNairy County is, and he's a real legend. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the podcast that involved the last few podcasts. I thought that they've been beyond epic. They've been just awesome. Oh, did you send one too, Amanda, to Danny? I hope you did. It's to Danny Couples. Anyway, I'll tell you this much. We're also getting a lot of viewers. We're getting a lot more viewers that are tuning in. They were up until tonight. After tonight, I may lose several. We'll see. I hope not. I hope not. We got some great guests coming up. There's one of them. I'm getting another. Let's see what we got here. Oh, they are epic. They're epic podcasts. Believe me. Let me tell you why I do this. I'll just tell you why I do this. I don't make any money doing any of this. I'm not opposed to money. So if you're an advertiser and you want me to advertise for you, I'm happy to do it. But I think they're epic too. I love doing this because I get to meet these people that I think are extraordinary people. And Larry Wilcox is no exception. I mean, this guy, when you hear what his background is, you're going to be absolutely floored as to the amount of stuff that this guy has done. And I can tell you this much: there's Danny. Danny, jump in here.
Sorry, I had to cut my phone off.
My gosh, what a lifesaver you're going to turn out to be. Tell me about what's going on at the Buford Pusser Festival.
Okay, I'm back home. I heard there was bed bugs everywhere, so I left.
Wait a second. Are you serious? You went home?
Yeah, I don't like bugs. I can't stand rodents. All right, anything. I got to go. So I left.
All right, so tell me about your day. Tell me about what happened today at the festival and how that was going.
Okay.
What was going on?
First off, yesterday what happened with trying to find Cheryl's book. We looked on Amazon everywhere. It's sold out. And I don't know if you forgot to tell me she was coming, but we were at the courthouse, and I looked up, and there she was. She's just standing there. I said, I didn't have a clue. I told her, I said, Jason and I talked about you yesterday. We're trying to find your book. So we got hooked up with that, and we're going to get a book. Yeah, I did. I swear I didn't throw you under the bus. I swear I didn't.
No. I'm saying we. I mean, are we getting a book?
Oh yeah, good. We. I got you. I forgot Jason's name whenever she came up. But anyway, no, I'm just kidding. So they've got a tour bus that says the truth has no agenda. That's Mike Elam's logo when he signs off every night of his show. So it's a little tour bus that'll hold about 15 people. So we're at the courthouse in McNairy County. Down in the basement, they've got another museum that's like for Buford Pusser as well in the courthouse at McNairy County. This guy walks in and he says, hey, what happened to your bus? There's a hole in it. So, we thought he was just kidding. So we get up and walk out there. And sure enough, somebody knocked a big hole the size of your fist in the back window of that tour bus. Because, you're in McNairy County, and there are a lot of people that really are Buford Pusser fans, that diehard fans, based off the movie. I mean, he was a hero. He really was a hero. I mean, according to the movie. But we don't know. We had police come over. They done an investigation. We looked at cameras. It didn't happen at the courthouse. It happened somewhere else. But it was. We had a lot of people show up. People from Louisiana, from.
Now wait a second. You said a hole in the window or a hole in the metal?
In the glass, that big around.
You mean like a gunshot hole or what?
Oh, it was like a softball hole. That's how
Okay.
big it was. I went
Oh
inside and done
man.
my little detective work looking for a projectile that may be
Oh yeah.
inside the van, but I didn't see anything but glass. But it's a phantom. Somebody, who knows? Somebody could have come by. They don't. He's not liked by everybody down there. Or so there's some that really think Buford Pusser was a hero. So
All right.
that
So
was our drama.
I think I don't know if we. So that's the drama that happened this morning. So Mike, hopefully he's not too upset at me for not being able to be there. I'm a little. I don't know if I'm a little bit not surprised that you didn't want to sleep at a hotel with bed bugs. So good for you.
But
And
hey, get
but
something
that's not a,
something good did happen today.
okay. Let me hear it. If you can
I'm going to be
share
on
it
her
publicly.
show. I'm going to be on her show, the Zone 7.
Yes.
She's invited me to be a guest on her show. We're going to talk about the locator on the show.
Good.
Maybe.
Let's talk about that real quick. One more time, and just let everybody know in the audience what that locator is all about. And Amanda, you might be able to find it in a previous episode through pictures, but the locator, tell us what that is and how people get it and some of the advances that you guys are making.
Yeah, it's a light bulb that goes on your porch. It's a regular light bulb that whenever, if ever an emergency happens at home, you can activate the light bulb and turn it into a beacon for first responders. It was developed by my best friend. Sorry about moving. Developed by my best friend who went on a call for that a child was in cardiac arrest. He inputted his information in his GPS, and they got out to where it said they were, and it was just an open field. They went on down the road a little piece, and they came to a line of mailboxes. There's like 4 mailboxes, and the house number was on that mailbox, but it was beside a driveway that went up a hill. There were houses on each side, and there was no numbers on the houses. So they had to go from house to house until they found it was too late. It added about 5 minutes to the call. Ultimately, the child died. So that really haunted him for a long time. He came to me about his idea. He said, what if we come up with a light bulb that goes on your porch that can turn into a beacon for first responders? That would really, really help. And I said, yeah, that's great. Let's do it. We did it. We got it developed. And I guess we're 3 or 4 years into it now. And we've hit about every state, but it doesn't sell really good, but it's getting out there. We've got some good things coming. As far as advertising, Prime Media has just got finished with a 60-second commercial that will be on TV probably middle of next month. We've got 2 different kinds of light bulbs now that we've got a third coming. One of them works off of an app that you download to your phone. It's free. You can put all your lights in the app, and you can actually activate them through your app. There's a button on there that says call 911. You hit that button, and they automatically come on, and you actually call 911.
Hey, let's throw up a quick Amanda, throw that up there, that link I just sent you. And we're gonna just remind the viewers as to what this light bulb is all about. And it is really good. It's about ready. You guys are about ready to make some serious advances. And you say that one of the most recent things you can use it for, like boats.
There's a new kind that's coming out next. It's in development stages now. It's actually a light bulb that's in the fixture and the light all together. It's waterproof. It's cordless, rechargeable. You can bring it with you. Stick it on your boat. Put it on your camper. Just charge it up. Go hiking. You know how these people get lost in the woods, and what better way to have a beacon in your backpack? We're really excited about that one. That's going to be our next one to come out. It's probably a year out, depending on how things go with these new commercials. But we've got save stories from all over the country. One especially out of Florida that this guy called. He was 911 director, ironically, and his daughter was sick, and it actually helped save his daughter's life. So that kind of made that circle come back around complete from
Yeah.
why it really originally was developed. I'm going to send her. I think I got her email. The actual new commercial. I know you may
Oh,
want
let's
to
do that.
show it.
Yeah, let's send the new one then, because I'd rather you show the new one so you get a little bit of.
I'm
Because
going
you
to
guys
send
put a
it
lot
to
of work
you,
into that.
Jason. Can I send it to you, or should I send it to Amanda?
Send it to Amanda if you've got
I
her
don't know if
email.
I got her email address.
Send it to me, then we'll handle it that way. And so while we're getting that company is starting to listen. If you're looking for a gift for your elderly parents, or like your elderly mother that's at home, or your somebody like that, that you just really want to have that little extra peace of mind, then it might be something that you can have to where when literally seconds count, that could be the difference between brain damage. I mean, 4 to 6 minutes brain
Definitely.
damage sets in,
4 to
right?
6
So
minutes, it's gone. Yeah, there's no coming
there you
back.
go.
When that muscle dies, it's gone.
Yeah,
You
so
know,
that's something to think about, and I don't know what the cost of that thing is right now. I know that you're working towards one day getting it a little cheaper because it's
we're working
expensive.
on it. We were actually getting ready to drop the price now, and give a little bit of a discount on multiple bulbs. So that's part of our task to do, and we're working on that as we speak. So
Great.
yeah, that was getting it priced down a little bit, and we've had some people say, well, why aren't they made in America? Everything is except for the bulb itself. The app, the development, all was done here, but they're not made in the United States. You cannot. There's not a company that makes those. We tried. We would pay more just to have them made here, but they're not now. They eventually will be, and when they are, will change.
And
But
ladies and gentlemen, they're not out. They're not out to stick it to you. It's just that it costs a lot of money to make those things, doesn't it?
it does. It does to do it here. It really does. Now, I think one reason. Now, you tell me what you think, Jason. But if you get on a boat, I don't know if you do boating, but if you get on a boat and you got to have a life jacket, you got to have a throw seat, you got to have an oar, you got a fire extinguisher, you got to have a safety device that goes on your wrist that connects to the key to the boat. All those had to be mandated. Why did all those have to be mandated? Because people don't want to buy something that's going to help them save their life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Right.
we're invincible. And that's what we've seen. We've noticed with this that love it. People love it and they know it's a phenomenal product. But it's
Well,
like
speaking about how phenomenal it is, Amanda, throw up that last link I just sent you, and we can look and see how great it looks
I hope
when you're
it'll
ready.
play.
It says it doesn't work that way. Let me send it
Okay.
another way. I'll send it to her Facebook, but
Okay.
maybe it'll work that way. But and ladies and gentlemen, let me just tell you this right now. I sincerely, she's got it in her Facebook. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to apologize for tonight. I really hope that you don't think that we've got some kind of a shoddy situation going on here. But the fact of the matter is that it was bound to happen. This is episode number 51. I'm shocked it hasn't happened before. And just a little behind the scenes real quick. And Amanda, just let me know if that doesn't work as well. But I will tell you this much, that there's been a couple of, there was one episode in particular that I had a guest basically say, yeah, I can't do it. Like 30 minutes before. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You can't do this. Are you crazy? I got to go live. And she came on and she was absolutely fantastic because she had a little stage fright going on,
She's scared.
Yeah. Hey, while Amanda, let me know if that's not going to work or not. If it is, then roll with it. If not, I sent it to your Facebook. And if not, tell me what it was like hanging out with Cheryl today out there in McNairy County, and Mike for that matter.
Meeting Cheryl was absolutely, I don't know, just friends at first sight. Literally, we just connected immediately. And she is just so cool. She really is. She was cool on your podcast, and she was even more cool in person.
What brought her there?
She's been following Mike Elam and Buford posted the other story, And I really didn't know that. I should, but I didn't. Mike and I are pretty close. We keep up pretty good, but I didn't. I had no clue. Yeah, and I looked up and seen her, and my jaw dropped literally. And so that was just awesome. We rode around to 2 sites or 3 sites. We went to the crash site where Buford Pusser actually lost his life in the car accident where he wrecked the Corvette.
Mhm.
We sat there, and then we went to the graveyard where Buford Pusser and his wife Pauline are buried, and spent some time there. And after that, I had to come home. Had some stuff going on here, and had to get back home. But the time I did spend, but it was pretty neat. There's actually a big podcaster. I don't know that. I'll have to look his name up. That was there from New Orleans. Uh, they had some equipment, so they were doing some recording as well. But we didn't have any problems other than that. Whatever knocked the hole in that glass that morning, we didn't have any problems with the public or anything like that. It was really quiet there. But they were, as I left, they were going to the ambush site where it actually happened, and actually the 2 ambush sites. And so I didn't get to go there. But the time I did, was there with her, it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
I've got
I got to tell you. So while I do these podcasts, just to let everybody see this, because this will, hey Jack, look at here, look at this. So my grandson here,
hey.
he no, it's okay. Don't be scared. Come on. So,
Don't scare him.
We have him here like as many Friday nights as we can get him here, believe me. And so I've had Amanda reprimand me a few times because Amanda's like, I don't know what noise that is in the background. Well, he's trained. He's trained now. He knows. And Grandpa's got his podcast going on. He's got to be quiet. And there he is. And say hi.
Hey, get him a headset, Jason, and put him on the mic. Let him say something.
Yeah, say hi to Danny, Tina. So
Hi, Danny.
Yeah,
Hey,
she's
Tina,
saying hi.
I see the hand. Yeah.
So anyway, okay, Amanda, go ahead and throw that ad up there real quick. No show. There's no audio to it, Amanda. I don't know what's going on there.
That doesn't look like it either.
Well, it's not. She couldn't do that other one. Never mind. Take it off. It's all right. Well, I'll tell you what I'll tell you what. That's what it does. And that if I don't know if people can hear us or not, but it's the Locator 911. And ladies and gentlemen, if you get a chance to check that out, what is the cost of that thing right now? Do you know the exact cost?
Right now, it's at $44.99.
Ooh.
And then we're going to drop it to $39.99. Plus, we're going to give some like buy 2 get 1 at half price or something. I don't know exactly. So
right on.
Yeah.
And listen, for the peace of mind, I'll tell you what. If you live in a rural area, that's really. If you're living in a neighborhood in the city of Tulsa, and that's what it looks like. If you're living in a city of like a major metropolitan city, they're going to be able to find you pretty quick. But if you live in like, I don't know, like rural areas or just outside of town, or you're living in a small town, man, I'm telling you, well, maybe not a small town because they probably know who you are, but in reality, it's something to consider, really. And I've got one on my house. So, and thanks to Danny and those guys for pointing me in that right direction. So you'll be part of good company if you look at it. And yes, Kathleen, my grandbaby is, yeah, it's an awe moment because he comes over here to get spoiled rotten, and that's just exactly what we do with him every time. So what was the crowd? You said the crowd was pretty tame out there in McNairy County. So is this like a huge festival, or kind of paint the picture for me as to what this looks like?
This has been 61 years ago since Buford Pusser was sheriff in McNairy County. I don't know how long they've been doing this festival, but it's been going on a long time. People come from everywhere. There's a lot of fans. That movie was a big movie. I loved it, to be honest with you. It's a great, it brought a lot of people into law enforcement because it was a hero police movie. I'd heard things all my life about some bad things that he did, and to me, it's just hearsay, the stories, but it was stories from people who lived there. So that's a little bit different than hearing it from somebody across the country or the state or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was they have this festival once a year, this week, whatever this the week of the 20th, and it used to have a lot of people. The TBI is completed with their investigation and is turned over to the district attorney. And I hear it's going to be really soon. And I don't know if they waited till the festival was going to be complete before they announce the outcome of the investigation from Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. I know
Okay,
they
now
did a
this is
phenomenal
huge.
job. Yeah, and
Well, this is huge. So you're talking about that the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation has completed their investigation. It's at the district attorney's office right now for they're just once that's going to be a big news story for sure.
That's gonna, and it really is. It's gonna be huge. There's a lot of fans out there that still fight for him as a hero.
Yeah.
But you know how it is being a detective. You follow the evidence, and when the evidence shows otherwise, it's like Mike says, truth has no agenda, and that's true.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Whether he's my hero or he's my brother-in-law or whatever, it doesn't matter. The truth needs to be told for that family. I'm a death investigator. I've been a death investigator for a long time. I teach it at a university. I love that part of it, and I love being an advocate for the deceased and for the family.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they're doing. I say Mike. It's not me. I don't have anything in the game other than interest, and been on his podcast a couple of times talking about the bloodstain pattern analysis of that car. But being a death investigator and being an advocate for the dead and for the families that's left behind, some people say, "Well, he's dead. What are you going to do?" You're not going to. I mean, you're not. He's not going to jail. He is dead. But what is it going to do for the family that's still alive? It's going to give them some peace of knowing the truth of what really happened that night or that morning. But anyway, yeah, it's going to be huge, Jason. It's going to be huge for that area and across the country as far as what's going to happen. And to me, looking at my side, I'm not a police officer. I worked around a lot of them and got a lot of free donuts. But anyway, I can tell a police joke. Okay, my dad was a cop, so I can get by with saying one police joke about the.
Well, let me tell. Do you know why that donut thing comes up? Do you know the story behind that?
No, I don't.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me just tell you the story. First of all, there's a lot of cops that like donuts, and I'm one of them. I really shouldn't because I shouldn't be eating those. And but I will tell you this is that the reason why donuts and cops are like the story goes, it goes back to the old days before they had the police radio. And so what cops would do is they would hang out at the donut shop in their town. And that's where people would go find the cops because it was the only business that was open really, really early. And then the cops would hang out there. And that's why it's just part of our culture. And then people just know that's just, it's stuck. I don't know why it's still here, but it's stuck because that's just what people learned when they were growing up. And so from the older generations, they're like, hey, that cop, I bet he likes donuts. Well, it wasn't because they love donuts. It's because they hung out at the donut shop. That's really
it gets stuck on them. I make fun of firemen too. So, I work with police and fire my whole almost 40 years. So I get a little leeway. Okay, get off of me.
Well, I'll tell you what.
I always say firemen get all the credit because all they do is save cats out of trees. Hello, I mean we save their lives.
Yeah.
I
was sitting here looking at I was looking at a message up here, and I'm gonna. Who was it that sent that? Steve, I'm glad you're here. Steve actually was a running back for Oklahoma State University back in the day. Let's just say,
wow.
And Hopefully I'll be able to see them. Kathleen says that she was late again and she blames her phone for not alerting. Well, let me say, Kathleen, if that's the worst thing that happens for you tonight, don't worry about it. Try being in my shoes where I'm ready to roll and we're ready to hit live. That's one of the risks going live, Danny. I'm telling you, when you go live, buddy.
Yeah, you can put Larry
you
Wilcox under my name there, Jason, if you want.
No. We're changing that. We're gonna have to edit that somehow. We'll have to talk to Bill, the program director, and have him change that. And we'll just call this WTF or something. I don't know. I don't know what we'll call it. We'll call it Danny 3.0 or something. But so everybody out there,
hey.
is this like a huge festival though? There's a lot of people. Oh, is this number 4?
Hey, this is number 4. I've been on here. There is. It's they do have a lot of people. Tomorrow is a big day. Actually, today was Police Officer Day, Law Enforcement Day. Although I'm not law enforcement, but hey, I do work for a law enforcement agency. So,
well, I will say this:
case investigator.
What you said is that if the district, let me just say this, and this is just my thoughts. If it's at the DA's office, I think people could read between the lines. And let me tell you what that kind of sounds like to me. That would imply that somebody's still alive that might have some involvement to this. And they're maybe considering what they're going to do. And so that tells me, yeah. And so otherwise, what's the point? If everybody's dead, then they still might make an announcement just simply because of the huge nature of it, et cetera. And whether one way or the other, but I think that the first thing that I said is probably the truth, is that probably somebody's still alive and they're considering what are they going to do with this evidence, or do they have enough, et cetera, kind of a deal.
Right, Jason. Today, if that happened today, and a police officer took a family member out on a call, and that family member was killed, not necessarily an ambush, but maybe a wreck or whatever. But wasn't that officer be liable for that person's death just by taking them with him?
No, not in Tulsa. And the reason why is because, let's just say, ladies and gentlemen, if you decided to do a ride along with a police department, I know that I can't speak for every department in this country, but I can tell you in Tulsa, you basically sign what is called a hold harmless agreement. And that means that you're not going to hold the police department, the city of Tulsa, liable if something was to happen to you. And I will just tell you right now that, hey, you do a ride along with a police car or with a policeman in a police car, anything can happen. And I mean, anything can happen to you. So just keep that in mind. And what if you start you'll learn real quick that if you're getting shot at in that car, you're going to find a way to wedge yourself up underneath that in that floorboard, up underneath that dashboard. And you'll find yourself getting really small really quick.
Right. So, Jason, you say they have to sign a waiver before they do it?
They do in Tulsa. They do.
Well,
here.
What if they didn't sign a waiver and they just let them go without signing?
No, well, I'm going to give you my non-lawyer guess to this. Okay. I think that if a person went on a ride along voluntarily, I think you can assume that they know that the inherent risk that come along with riding in a police car. Now there's other rules too. I'll tell you this, Danny, just to let the public know, we're not allowed to get into a vehicle pursuit when we have a ride along. They don't want to endanger them unnecessarily. I can tell you that a lot of times when I would have ride-alongs with me, I would make sure that they stayed in the car until the coast was clear, and then I'd basically flash my flashlight at them to say, yeah, it's okay, you can get out now. I just wouldn't just go, come on, let's just bebop up to this house where there's a raging domestic going on for them to get involved in that. No, you have to be responsible. You need to be responsible for that individual's safety, etc. I'm going to tell everybody that's here, that's tuning in tonight, since you're getting complete bonus material and you don't know what's coming out of my mouth next, that if you are really interested in doing something, and I don't know if you've done this or not, Danny, you may want to consider doing this, is that you should go and explore in your community. I think Kathleen lives up in Seattle area or something. Man, how cool would that be to go basically see if there's a Citizens Police Academy that exists for your local police department and go sign up. My wife went through it. My mother-in-laws went through it. I teach at the one here in Tulsa. So if you live in this Tulsa
My
area
wife
and you
went
wanted to
through
go,
it. She's my wife went through it. She's part of it.
yeah, it's fantastic. And so
Citizens Academy. That's what it's called here.
yeah, it's great and it's free. It doesn't cost you anything to attend. It's like several weeks long. Ours is 13 weeks long, and it gives you an opportunity to get a real life look as to what goes on as far as that goes. And a lot of times they'll take you even out on the pursuit course, which is really cool. And so that's a lot of. They don't let you drive, but they'll let you sit in the car and get beat around in that backseat of a car, and you'll love it. But and then the other thing is between that. And the other thing that I would recommend, if you want to go on a ride along, there's nothing stopping you guys. Go call your local police department, or if you know a police officer, ask him, how do I go about doing a ride along? And I think it's great, man. I used to go on them when I was a young when I was aspiring to be a cop. I went on several of them, so it's a good way to see.
But they let me run the sirens, Jason. I just wondered,
Well, I don't know. I'll tell you this much. This is a story that I was going to tell. I was going to tell when Larry was here, but I can tell you this much. The last time I was in Los Angeles, I was driving along one of those interstates, and there was a cement truck that had went off of the roadway, and this is like a Chips moment, literally. This cement truck went off of the roadway, and it had burst into flames. I didn't get to see that part of it, but I pulled up on this thing right after this thing had happened. I pulled over. I jumped out. I ran down there. I remember the guy's name. His name was Elton. I still remember that to this day. I actually have video of this. I just haven't seen it since the 90s, but it's on a it's on a tape. And literally, this truck it exploded while we were down there trying to get him out of this truck. And we got him out of the truck and everything. It was crazy. It was a Chips moment for real. And so the highway patrolman ended up showing up. The California highway patrolman showed up, and he goes, "Go get on my radio." This is telling me this. Go get on my, and I wasn't even a cop yet, And he goes, "Get on my police radio and request a helicopter." And so I went up there. I got on there. I'm like, "I'm not the highway patrolman," but he told me to get on here and get a helicopter out here right away. And she's like, "You're who?" And so it was kind of a cool moment. But anyway. Well, I don't know. You got anything else you want to add as far as your 911 locator, your ventures as a cold case guy, or the festival? And if you do, and we just lost him too, man, it's just we're getting hit with everything. But if I don't know, I just really am thankful that Danny got here. If you're able to hear me, click that X down below, that red X, and then come right back in. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say this one more time. I'm really, really sorry that that things worked out the way they did. The only thing I can assume is that something came up and he just forgot, and that's one of those things. Or let's just hope that that's what it was. I hope that it's not something serious, and hopefully we can get him on here in the near future. And I'm telling you, if we can get him to come on here, and he was coming on. I don't know what happened. If I can get him to come on here, he's really a fascinating individual, and so. For those of you that just subscribed to my channel, thanks for coming back, Danny. For those of you that have subscribed to my channel as of recently, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. It means the world to me that you're willing to spend an evening. Man, it's Friday night on Memorial Day weekend, and hopefully many of my viewers are on a plane somewhere, and they're missing it for that reason, and they won't hold us. And I'm just glad that Danny was able to step in. That means a lot to me too. So thank you for showing up. It was supposed to be epic, buddy. It was supposed to be big time.
I had all kinds of,
I was excited. I had freaking props, man. I had props ready to roll. I've got all kinds of stuff there. But anyway, so when you talk to anything else that you want to share that's really big that we need to get out there?
I want to tell a death investigation story. One,
please,
if that's okay. And you're kind of involved in it in a sense. You remember our last class we were together? It's called Bloodstain Pattern Analysis.
Yeah, in New York City.
So, yeah, anytime you get back from any class, you're kind of in the back of your mind thinking, I'll be glad. I hope something pops up where I can go work it. My first day back to work, I was thinking that all day. And at midnight, I got my wish come true. We have there's a plant down here that involves a shredder that metal goes into. So this guy, this worker, was pushing metal over into this hopper, and he slipped and he went face first over into the hopper, and his body strode over 140 feet from parts that went in the first and where it went out in the end, where it dropped off to the end. So his face, part of his face was on 140 feet away, and part of his feet were in the early on. So his body strode over 140 feet. So I got my wish. So be careful what you wish for. One phenomenal thing, and I've got a whole PowerPoint on this about this case, because there are actually two shredders involved in this, and although he did work there, and that's when you're identifying someone, you just can't go by, okay, this guy clocked in, that's who it is. You still got to prove that's who this person is when you have this many body parts. But we actually identified him through fingerprints. His hands are the only thing that wasn't shredded. How they went through two sets of shredders, we don't know. But it was just enough that we could get fingerprints, and there was a little bit of dental, but not much. But that took 9 hours of work to get that whole scene processed, and never again. And you know how long ago it was when we went through that class. I never wished for another call like that again, because it was cool doing it and actually identifying who it was, other than circumstantial. Yeah, this guy clocked in, and we have evidence that he didn't. We don't have evidence. Well, we have evidence that he clocked in, and he didn't clock out. So that's the only thing we knew. You couldn't see him to identify him. We had to use the fingerprints. So that was probably one of my most intriguing cases, and it happened just right after our last class. But
well, I'll tell you, since you speak of fingerprints, there was a body. I was in training, and it was a mummified body, and there wasn't much of that individual left. And I don't mean to be too graphic, but this is the reality of it. It's part of what we deal with. But anyway, and I'm sure that people kind of enjoy some of these stories anyway. So I'll tell you what. So one of the things that this guy did, that was a crime scene detective. I'm just a young Jedi. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I'm still, looking over my shoulder. I don't know what the heck I'm still scared about what's going to come. The next call's going to be, you know what I mean? I'm in training. And so what he did, it was kind of brilliant. He spray painted the fingertips with silver paint, and then he rolled it with the roller. They were so bad off that you weren't going to be able to roll the fingers. And so what he did is he photographed the actual fingertips, and he was able to take those pictures, and they were able to I don't know what they did with it, but they were able to make well, actually they had an idea who he was. And then they were able to take those photographs and match it to the actual the other deal, to the fingerprint card. And they were able to make an identification based on that. And he was able to publish that, which is really cool, and so forth. I will. I'm reading something here on the backside, but so anyway, there's cool things that happen and so forth. And I'm reading something that Amanda wrote, something about a double no body case in Nova Scotia. There's a really, Amanda might know the name of this. It's a serial killer that was in Canada. He's one of the most notorious serial killing cases of them all, and I can't remember what the guy's name is. But there's a chance we might be able to get the detective on here. We've reached out to see, and I'm trying to think. I don't remember who told me they were going to talk to him. They know him, whatever. Somebody told me. But ladies and gentlemen, this isn't going to be the last famous person that's going to be on this program, even though he didn't make it tonight. And I'm not referring to me. I'm talking about there's two people that are lined up for the near future that I'm not even going to mention who they are, but they're cool. They're really cool. And one of them has been on TV. The other one's been on a motherload of TV, and they've agreed to come on too. So that'll be fun for the future. And Larry's going to be on. I have confidence in Larry. There must have been something in the cross. Who knows? YouTube. I mean, not YouTube, but maybe Yahoo Mail screwed up a message. I don't know, but it said it's sent to him. But I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this. This is driving me crazy. But we'll try to get him here. Anything else? We'll probably get off of here and let everybody go enjoy their Memorial Day weekend. And
I've got a guest that I'm working on, and I won't say his name because I'm still working on it, but he will be a phenomenal
yep, he will be.
guest.
He will be.
He's. I'll tell you what he does. He's a forensic anthropologist, and I'll leave it at that. But I'm very certain that I can get him on here, and just give me a little more time. I think I can get him. So he'll be a good one.
The Robert Picton guy, I don't know if that's him or not. Somebody's asking me about it, but it's pig farmer. That sounds interesting. I don't know. Yeah, well, we're going to try to get him. Tell me what a forensic anthropologist is. Do you know?
A forensic anthropologist is the study of bones, human remains. I've many times, we went to classes, Jason, and I'm sure you have too, and studied about human remains. And me being a critical care paramedic for so long, I've studied bones. But look at 9/11, at all the human remains that they have now, that they're still, what did he say, 13,000 or something still remain from there. But I can go out here and get a bone, find a bone, and unless it's a skull, it's hard to tell it for humans. So I'd always call this person. I almost said his name, and I would send him a picture, and he would immediately tell me if it's human or non-human. And they do a lot of. This person worked with like universities, and they would have students that actually go out and dig, and to try to excavate human remains.
Yeah, but I'll tell you. I'm going to tell you one last thing real quick that I'm going to mention an anthropology story. I've got one, Danny.
Okay.
And so, when we had Ed Wallace on here a couple of weeks ago, right? Or it was last week. I can't remember. I think it was last week. And so we had Ed on here. Ed was the guy that kind of coordinated people getting to go to that class. In some ways, it wasn't just up to him. There was other people that were involved. And by the way, I have had a little communication with Barbara Butcher. So I think we're going to be able to get her on in the future, hopefully. And so anyway, my point is that the first time I applied for it, this is just kind of it's not really funny. I everything I've had to work for in my life is never easy. So the first time that I applied for that school, I got a big fat rejection. And I was like, no, this isn't going to happen. And so I'd made the stupid mistake of basically telling a couple of other people about it. Hey man, you should apply for it. And one of them was Nathan Schilling. Many people have seen him on the show. We were working crime scene together. And so what happened is they send me this letter, says, no, you didn't get it. And I'm like, what? And so Nathan and this other guy that I work with, they both got a letter stating, yes, we want you to continue on with the process. These are the two people I told them about it. And I was like, and then they were rubbing it in. And that's what really got under my skin. And they were like, hey, we got to the next thing. You didn't. I'm really sorry. But it was the way they were saying it. So they were like little kids, like, we get to go and you don't. And I was like, no, this isn't going to work. So I ended up sending them a letter and I said, hey, there's some mistake here. You need to have me in your class, and you need me and I need you. And so lo and behold, I got accepted and they didn't. So I ended up going. And then this is the fun part. So the next time they had the advanced, that's the basic. And then they had the advanced. And this is a very, very prestigious program. And not just everybody gets to go to New York City. And I'd never been there either. So the second thing that I'll tell you, I applied for the advanced class, Danny. And what did I get? I got a prompt rejection letter. And I was like, what? So, because when I was up there, I was like, oh, this is great. Ed, how are you doing? You saw you had a coffee cup. Don't think I was working it. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I need to be back. And so anyway, what happened is that I got that rejection letter and I was out with a forensic anthropologist walking around. And while I was out walking around, she goes, well, if there's anything that me or Dr. Snow can do for you, well, Dr. Snow, have you ever heard of Dr. Snow?
I have.
He's world renowned. He's old. He's deceased now. But at the time, he was a world renowned forensic anthropologist, literally known throughout the world. And And it was kind of funny because I met him a couple of times, and you would see him in the medical examiner's office. He was like in his 80s, and he'd be standing over a body smoking a cigarette with like an ash like this long, and he was allowed. He was allowed, and there'd be like beetles boiling out of a body, and he's standing there just kind of going, "Oh yeah, you know, this and that, whatever." Well, anyway, world renowned. So she goes, "Well, if there's anything that me or Dr. Snow can do for you, just let us know." And I said, "You know what? There is something that you can do for me. You can have Dr. Snow call Dr. Hirsch in New York City." Dr. Hirsch is a legend too. He's deceased now, but his name is on the building in New York City. And you could have him call Dr. Hirsch and find out why I am not in that class. And 2 days later, I was in the class. And then, so I'm sure that I'm sure he made some phone calls.
Is that how you did it?
Yes. And then the third time for the blood stain pattern analysis, I got a rejection letter for that one too. And on that one, I called Ed. I was in Walmart. I remember being on an aisle in Walmart when I got that. And I was so mad. I ended up calling Ed personally. I said, "Ed, I don't know what the heck's going on up in there, but you better get me in that next class." And so he goes, "Oh, we made a mistake." "Yes, of course." And I was there. So anyway, it's a long story, but it's kind of fun. And Danny, I can't thank you enough, buddy. You really, you saved the day.
Welcome.
You would have made this really weird and awkward for me. And it was awkward for the first half. Trust me. And thank you for being here.
Maybe one day I'll get a cup, I don't know.
You're going to get a cup. You'll probably get a shirt. And when we start selling some merchandise, I'll get you a shirt too. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't thank you enough for being here, hanging out with us on a Friday on Memorial Day weekend. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate Danny. You have no idea how much fun I have doing this show. And I want to keep it going strong. And like I said, we got some really epic people. Next week, I will not be on here live, but listen to me. This is big. Next week, I'm going to air the Steve-O episode, and it's huge. It's huge. It really went well, and I think you guys deserve seeing Steve-O next week because of the issue we had tonight. And so we'll have him on. It's an hour and a half of pure perfection. It really is. Steve-O will be here next week. And so check that out, and I will start putting ads out for it and so forth. And this isn't going to be one of those episodes. Well, I think it went great since you got here. But before that, maybe we'll just edit that part out and hope for the best. But thanks again, buddy. I appreciate you very much. Consider getting the 911 locator light bulb.
Hey, that's Zone 7. That's Zone 7, and I don't know when I'll be on that show. I really don't. Somebody asked me a question, but I don't have a clue, but hopefully it won't be soon.
Well, not just that, but I'm glad you mentioned that, Danny. Here's what I'm going to do. You were on an episode of Mike Elam's podcast. I'm going to go ahead and stick that in my playlist, so you can actually catch his episode. I'll throw it on my playlist. I'm not getting the views for it, so Mike still gets the views, but I'm going to stick that on I may be on there right now, but I'm going to put your episode that you did specifically on my playlist if you're okay with that. And that way people can tune in to that one that you did where he talks about bloodstain analysis in the car. And then you can also, the ones that I did with Mike Elam are already on my playlist. Just go into the podcasts that I've been on and so forth. So I can't think of anything else. I've probably kept Amanda here longer than I needed to. Thank you all again. And I'm just curious, just real quick before we get off here, how do you guys like the longer episodes? Did you like the 54-minute ones? I don't know why my mic keeps going down, but or do you like going a little bit longer? Because when we have a guest on here, I actually like going longer. We're not rushed. But let me know. Let me know in the comments. Go to my Facebook or go to my YouTube page rather, and leave comments there and so forth. Have a great weekend. Be safe, everybody. Be safe. And thank you again for everybody for being here. And I'm going to check out my private chat before I get off. Like and subscribe, leave comments, tell your family, tell your friends. If they, like I said, this is a rare situation where, golly, it's one of those deals. And that's the way it goes. Thanks again, everybody. Thanks, Danny. Appreciate you, buddy.
You're welcome.
And Amanda, why don't you just go ahead and take us out? See you next week.